We're back. So I took a little bit to notice that I had a power issue, as you guys have seen. Thanks God it's a laptop, so no issues at all for me, which is what matters the most. Am I right? So as I was saying, the difference between Type 1 and Type 2 hypervisors is that a Type 1 runs on your computer. No, shit. Not that. A Type 1 runs... It's the system itself. So... it's an OS made for virtualization. That's the point of a Type 1. So like KVM or even Hyper-V at certain points. Because there is like a Type 2, not quite Type 2, because Hyper-V is considered a Type 1 nonetheless, but you could like run Hyper-V from Windows 10. But then again, it kinda, even though it's a software and it runs on top of Windows, it's not quite like that. For some reason, there is a difference. I'm not sure, but I think Hyper-V supports pass-through for example. So you can use your GPU, your full GPU power on a VM like you would with KVM and ESXi and so on and so on. So Type 1 is pretty much bare metal. The OS is the actual hypervisor. And a Type 2 is like VirtualBox or like VMware Workstation, of course, and like all of those virtualization softwares that we all know and use on a daily basis. So yeah, that's it. Let me make the pen smaller a little bit because it's kind of hard to write with such a massive ass pen. Okay, I think that's better. So, okay, choose fin. Let's get, yeah, that's better. So Type 1 is ESXi, Hyper-V, which is Microsoft's hypervisor, KVM. There are others, but those are the most popular ones, the ones that you hear people talking about all the time. And Type 2, it's like Workstation, VirtualBox, QEMU, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's it. So that's pretty much the difference. Type 1, the OS is pretty much the virtualization software itself. It's the hypervisor. And a Type 2 runs on top of something. So on top of Linux or Windows or Mac, for instance, like Parallels, VMware, you know. Anyway, so let's get to what matters. What am I planning to do here is a kind of server lab. It's a make-believe server lab. It's nothing fancy because I don't have RAM to spare. Because like I have only 16 gigs of RAM. That's all I got. And like around 60 gigs of storage. So storage, let me try and draw a storage logo, which is looking more like a dick, but that's the storage and that's our RAM memory. Even though it doesn't look like RAM, that's our RAM. So we got 16 gigs, we got 60 of storage, and the plan or goal, should we say that, is to get like our ESXi installations running with 8 gigs of RAM. So from 8 gigs of RAM we could go with like 412 here, 412 here, 412 here, 412 here. Okay, that's pretty boring, I know. So 4 VMs and we barely using. Okay, let's go with like 6 VMs from now, each one running with only half a gig of RAM on Debian 9. That's pretty doable, I think. I could be wrong, I know, but I think it's more than enough and it should do the trick. So the plan it's pretty much like 6. So 1 instance, 2, 3. Excuse my drawing skills, pretty bad, I know. So here's the server. Here's how it's gonna lay out running Debian 9 from now, because we're gonna expand. We're gonna make it bigger. We're gonna go with like I don't know, maybe Ubuntu or Fedora. It doesn't matter. The fact is, we can actually expand on that. We can go further than just, you know, 6 VMs. But that's the main goal from now. 6 of them running at once, and hopefully without any issues. That's the goal. That's the plan. That's the dream, and I hope we can achieve it. So yeah, and after like getting the OS installed, after getting everything updated and working, and getting like Apache and all the modules that we might ever need, we have to start actually worrying about basic stuff. Not basic, but I would say important stuff, which would be redundancy and like automatic backups, stuff like that, which we will definitely need in a simulated server environment, because the real server environment would have that. So we have to think, what would the real server have in terms of redundancy, in terms of security? So we gotta go with all those fancy features. We gotta make a decked out server, and that's what we're gonna do. I don't know how, but we're gonna figure out. It's my first time using ESXi for clearance, so yeah, there's that. It's literally my first time. I'm not used yet. I know a few things because it's pretty straightforward. It's not like hard to use at all. Like most VMware tools are excellent. I fucking love VMware when it comes to how usable it is and how, you know, straightforward it is. So there's no mystery at all when it comes to using it. Installing ESXi was so fucking easy and quick. I'm not even kidding, dude. It was so quick. I was like, seriously, is that it? It was hella quick. So that's the point. It's quick as fuck. And anyway, let's get to work. Let's power on the ESXi. Oh my god, why is it so hard to say? ESXi. Never mind. Anyway, let's power that on. It doesn't matter. Let's get rid of the pen. Let's get rid of the display capture as well, because we don't need it anymore. Oh, there we go. Now you guys can only see VMware, because privacy is a thing. It's important. I don't want you guys seeing my porn folders, you know. It's important to hide the porn. Anyway, let's power ESXi on and hope for the best. Let's make dreams come true. So yeah, we got 8 gigs of RAM for this instance, which is more than enough. I mean, I got only 16, so I don't have a lot of RAM to spare. And if I go past this mark, it's actually gonna start throwing errors everywhere. Because, you know, Windows 10 by default with Steam launched and like Discord and all the tools that you might ever need is gonna eat around 7 gigs of RAM. So if you go any past that mark, you know, it's gonna throw errors. So 8 is like the max I can go right now with VMware Workstation. Anyway, that's not the point. Let's just power it on. Let's power this baby boy on, and it loads pretty quickly, as you can see. Enter and boom, it's pretty damn fast. So that's pretty much it. It's gonna take a while to initialize now. That's the part that actually takes some time, but still, like, way faster than I thought. Because like I watched the video on it, like on the installation procedure, because I thought it could be hard. Turns out it was not. So I pretty much closed the video, because I was like, holy shit, I didn't need a video for that. It's pretty straightforward, and that's thanks to VMware. The guys are awesome. You know, they know what they're doing. They know how to make things fast. They know that we gotta save time, because time is money. So they get rid of all the hard part, and it's just straightforward, simple as that. It's just enter, 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 and then you type password. So that's it. We're on. VMware is online. Simple as that. As you guys can see, it took like, what, less than 1 minute to boot up. Yeah, it's that quick. And it's running from an external disk. So yeah, mind that. It could be faster with an SSD or even normal drive. But anyway, let's get to the browser, because that's where we actually get to control the interface. Because you don't have direct control from the actual hypervisor, which doesn't make sense. You know, it's... why would you want to control it from the hypervisor? You know, so it's from the browser. It's where the magic happens, and it's where we are heading to right now. But I gotta add a capture for that, because I forgot about that. So it's gonna be pretty quick. Don't worry about that. Add new capture source. Browser. It's not showing up. That's good. I'm very happy with Vivaldi not showing up on that. I'm very, very happy. Okay, you know what? You know what, my dude? I'm just gonna go and enable display capture so you guys can see what I can... no, you guys can't see what I can see for some reason. Oh boy. Sorry about that. Trying to figure out what went wrong here. It might be the... actually, I don't know. It just... that's a disaster. Okay. You know what? Let's capture, screen capture. Yeah, it's all black. Oh, never mind. It shows up now, which is excellent. So, let's go with the IP. Oh, shit. Fucking... let's go Google here instead of no tab. This is a little concerning. Stuff that's showing up there. It's kind of weird. Compromising. JK, it's just... let's just say it's a picture, a meme, as my background by mistake and never changed it, so it's a little cringy, but that's not a point. I know. So yeah, welcome to my desktop. You guys can see everything that I can see. Cool. Anyway, what's the IP? Because I forgot. I'm down, but yeah. 68.15.10. So, okay. There you go. So that's the hypervisor panel. That's where we control, where we power on the VMs, where we mess around with the VMs, where we make it happen, where we make the magic happen. Pretty damn cool. I know. Let me just... that's for a friend. Anyway, yeah, username's root. That's what I said. You can actually go with a different username. You can manage like as many user accounts as you want. That's pretty dope. So, password, and boom, we're in the VM. And hypervisor, I mean, because even though it is a VM, because it's running inside of VMware Workstation, it's sort of Inception, because you know, it's a VM, it's a virtualization software running in a VM software, so it's kind of weird. It's a virtualizer that's running inside of a virtualizer inside of Windows 10. It's a bare metal running inside of a Type 2 hypervisor. That's kind of weird, I know, but I can't buy myself a server, so yeah, I have to go with VMware Workstation. But I'm okay with that because performance-wise, it's pretty okay. It's pretty doable. It's not like, oh my god, I can't use it. It's unusable. I can't mess around with VMs. I can't play with my favorite Linux distros. No, that's not a problem. I can actually play with them. So, you know, I don't mind. I don't quite mind at all. I'm okay with that. You know? It's not like the end of the universe not being able to, you know, have a server, which would be cool. I mean, more RAM, maybe like I could use all the RAM for that virtualization thing, because I would have no Steam running on background, no Discord running on background, but you know, 8 gigs, it's more than enough to mess around with small servers. So let's go to our VMs, and here we have 2 of them. From now, I've pre-installed some because I was like, I gotta get used to the software before actually streaming, because then it would be weird you know, to make a video or stream something that I'm not quite sure of how it works. It would be kind of weird if I was like lost. Like, how am I supposed to do this or that, you know? But thanks to the proper interface here, it's actually very, very easy and straightforward. So there's no mystery at all. You know, things are where they are supposed to be, and the settings are pretty damn straightforward. It's pretty clear. There's no challenge. There's no code tinkering. You just click, 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 and it works. That's the magic of VMware, and that's why I love them. Anyway, let's power the VMs on, or first, let's install one more VM. I think that's more important than actually powering VMs on. So from the 8 gigs of RAM, we actually have 7, because we have 2 VMs using 512 megabytes each, which would lead to 1 gig of RAM used. So we have 7 more to spare. We could go with a lot of VMs, but main goal now is 6. So we got 2, we gotta go with 4 more. Pretty damn simple, am I right? Yeah. So yeah, let's create a new VM. Create a new VM, and it's straight to the browser. There is no software needed. So I could be running that from a different computer that's connected to the network. Of course, you have to be on the network. Doesn't make sense, you know, you have to be on the very same network. But like, I could be doing that from a tablet. I could be doing that from my cell phone. I could be doing that from my freezer if it has IoT or television. Doesn't matter. It could be doing that from anywhere, and it would work the same way as long as you got, you know, the drivers to the browser plugins to actually run the interface, the graphical interface of Linux. But I think many of the browsers available can actually handle that, so that's not a problem. You can do that from anywhere. Anyway, VM name server tree. Yeah, pretty simple naming, nothing fancy here. Guest OS family, Linux, of course. I want to mess around with paid software. I'm an open source dude. Yeah, we gotta go with open source. Next. So as you can see, we got just 20 gigs left off 32.5. That's okay. As you can see, yeah, we lost 8 gigs there. That's the swap file, because, you know, that's to be expected. After all, it's a virtualizer. It needs a lot of RAM, you know. But yeah, let's proceed. So virtual hardware, that's where we are actually gonna decide the RAM, CPU, disk size. We're gonna go with just 5 gigs because I don't care about how big it is, because it's just for testing. It's not like I'm gonna run anything on that. It's just the base Debian without anything on it. It just works. It's the plain black screen, and that's all we need. 512 megabytes, more than enough for that. For testing, of course, you can't do shit with half a gig of RAM, but you know, it doesn't matter. It's not a point here anyway. SCSI ESXi controller. Oh shit, ESXi, kind of weird. SCSI is better. CSI, crime scene investigation. A USB controller, 2.0. Yeah, that's fine. VM network, yeah. CD drive. Oh, that's actually very cool stuff. That's pretty damn cool. You can actually upload the ISO file to ESXi. Yes, it's that damn cool. So you go there, you get a folder, you get the file, and select. Boom, there you go. It takes like 1 minute to upload the ISO file, because it's like a local network, which is even cooler. And I think we're good to go. Hello, my dudes. Welcome to the stream. Oh, I forgot to overlay the chat over. Ah, there you go. Now it's way better. Video card, custom settings. Yeah, that's fine. We're not gonna use graphical interface. Doesn't matter. VM options. Doesn't matter. Ready to complete. So server tree, Data Star 1, Debian 9, RAM. Yeah, pretty damn shitty, useless, finish. Okay, so there we go. We have the VM here working. It's not on yet, but it works. It's gonna work. We click on it, and boom, straight from the browser. That's how cool it is. Yeah. Not running any sort of software. As mentioned before, it could be doing that from a laptop plugged to the network, of course, or a phone or a TV. It doesn't matter. If it's connected to the network, it's gonna work. You're gonna have access to the ESXi panel where you can actually make the magic happen. And the name's kind of hard to pronounce though. Oh my god. Anyway, graphical install, yes. Let's make it the quick way, because we gotta make the dream server lab as quick as possible. That's our end goal here. That's what we want to do. We want to make it quick. So yeah, English, of course. Yeah, United States. Even though it's not my location, but it doesn't matter. American English, because my keyboard is actually American English. So yeah. Now it's loading the components. As you can see, it goes pretty quickly, which is normal, I guess. After all, we're talking about plenty of RAM, plenty of CPU power. Ooh, I forgot to configure the CPU cores. I think edit settings. As you can see, it's pretty much like workstation, but online. Yeah, just one CPU, that's okay. We have just a little bit more to use, which is gonna be a problem. Maybe we're limited to just one VM. Just one more VM, I mean, because I enabled only 4 cores, but we can fix that. That's not a big deal at all. We can enable more clocks on VMware Workstation. Anyway, hostname, vServer01, vServer01.br. Great. Continue. Let's go on. Configure the network. I hope it... Oh, there you go. So we gotta root password. Re-enter password. Phone name. Let's just go with my surname. That doesn't matter. Username. Yeah, that's good. Password for the user. There you go. We got password. Pretty damn straightforward so far. Eastern time zone, doesn't matter. Just gonna configure the clock. Now it's the part that gets kind of boring, but it's alright, which is disk partitioning. We're gonna use entire disk and set up LVM, yeah, VMware, virtual disk, all files in one partition. That doesn't matter. Yes, write the changes. It's pretty quick, as you can see, because it's a very small disk. Yes, write the changes. It's a pretty small OS as well. That was a good choice, because like Debian minimal is like 300 megabytes, maybe less than that. So yeah, it's pretty lightweight. You can, you know, install as many as you want, and it will barely take like 2 gigabytes. So yeah, that's the plus about that one. So we could definitely make a very massive, not quite massive, but you know what I mean, like 10 VMs or even more, and that would barely take up disk space, which is cool, because disk space is a kind of problem when you talk about like Windows Server, for instance, or like Fedora server, stuff like that, which takes like more than 2 gigabytes. Talk about 4, 5 per VM. I mean, for one VM it's okay, but if you think about it, like 10 VMs, 20 VMs, it starts to become an issue. So yeah, gotta bear that in mind when making your own server lab. So that's why I took Debian 9, because it's lightweight, it's usable, and most importantly, it's actually pretty damn good. I kind of love Debian. I use that on my main server, my real server, which is showing up on the upper left corner. It's the dashboard on Agenti, where I actually manage it and stuff like that. But yeah, scan, no, I don't care about that. Package manager, Brazil. because it's closer to where I live. USB, because they're communists. They have good internet. No, I don't care about that. And now it's pretty much the download part, because this one is the net install. It gets everything it needs from the internet, so the ISO file is pretty damn small, and that's the point. We gotta be small here. We gotta save space, you know. So being small is the most important part. We gotta save disk space all the time. We gotta think about that all the goddamn time. Installation goes pretty quickly, as you can see. I just wish I could clone the VMs as I can on VMware Workstation. There might be a way, and I'm just like unaware, but probably because like it's a full-blown software for virtualization, so you might have a way to actually just clone stuff. But I find it pretty fun, you know, installing OSs all the fucking time. 10, 20, yeah, you know. It never gets boring. It's actually pretty fun. I wouldn't say the same about Arch Linux though. Jesus, that took me quite some time. But like when it comes to normal distros like Debian, Ubuntu, it's kind of okay. It's pretty damn fast. It just flows nicely, you know. No desktop environment. I don't need that. Who would need desktop environment? It's 2018. We go all black screen, my boy. Standard system, no. Get the fuck out of here. Web server, print server, and SSH server. Of course, it's very important. We gotta have that for like our sync and stuff like that. Anyway, web server, print server. No, we don't need that. I don't even have a printer, for God's sake. But yeah, if you run a company, you wanna, you know, have a very fancy server tower with lots of VMs running, and maybe have a few automated printers, you could install that. But that's not my case, so I don't care about that. Let's go. Continue. Web server, SSH server. That's it. That's all we need. Let's go. That's the quick part, because we're pretty damn close to the source, so the download just flies. Look at that. Damn, Daniel. And it's the very minimal install, so it's pretty damn quick. It takes 5 minutes per instance, which is so quick. It's actually very damn quick compared to like hosting services like those Insta VM builders, like I don't remember names actually, but like Host One Plus, Contabo, the German hosting site, GoDaddy. I think they have VPSs as well. They have like the very custom installer. Takes like around that. The auto installer like 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe less. I don't know, but it's really damn quick. Considering it's local, you know, it's okay, and no SSD. And now it's the boring part. Scrub the bootloader. Oh boy, bootloaders. Had to learn a lot about them when I tried to install Arch Linux. I was struggling, but yeah, as you can see, it works wonderfully well. Server is already up, and you can manage server usage. You can manage network traffic, all the stuff that you could on a normal panel like Cockpit or Agenti for the matter. You can do that on ESXi. So log in, root, password. There we go. Welcome to Debian. So apt-get update. Look at that, pretty damn quick. I could run a disk upgrade, but that would ask for a 256 megabyte download. That's not what I want. I want to make it as minimal as possible. I don't want to upgrade shit. So yeah, 3 VMs as of right now. So we got I could even turn them on just to show up that the RAM usage won't like spike up that much. Let me show you guys. VM1, let's bring that up. So here's VM1 booting up. There you go. Bootloader. Okay, switching windows is kind of hard. I know that might be a problem with my web browser, but there you go. That's server 1 instance working, fully functional. Look at that. So yeah, we could go like, oh shit, it's typing somewhere else. Where's, oh, there you go. Root. We type in the password and we are in. That's the first server. Let's say we want to turn on server number 2. We could easily. It's all inside of ESXi. And it's running like a charm so far. Doing show how he handles the swap files and all the fancy stuff. Oh my god, I'm getting a phone call. Oh god. Back in a second, guys. Não chegou a chover ainda não, mas já deu o pique de chuva, já acabou de fluir. Agora parou. Não, já parou. Sim, sim, sim. Sim, sim. Nossa. Yeah. So, sorry about that, guys. Took a little longer than planned. That was my mom. But hey, we're back. So, yeah. As you can see, 3 servers running at once. And now let's go to what matters, the numbers. So how does it reflect when it comes to RAM usage? That's what we're gonna take a look right now. If the Windows may excuse me, please, yeah. Get out of my way. So as you can see here, it's using just 2 gigs of RAM. We're running 3 VMs, and it's only using 2.29 gigabytes of RAM. Yes. Yes, my dudes. That's how amazing it is. 3 instances simultaneously, and it's using just 2 gigs of RAM. Now, let's put that to another perspective. Let's imagine a data center. Let's imagine a decent server tower with 128 gigabytes of RAM and like lots of 2-3 gigabyte of RAM VMs. You could even, like, I don't know, resell the servers, or like, I don't know. I mean, it's a virtualizer. It doesn't matter what you're gonna do with that. But for corporate usage, development, you have a lot of freedom here. We're talking about, you know, bare metal virtualization with pretty much 0 hardware impact. You know, it's just the raw needs of the VM. Because you don't have the OS running in the background. It's a type 1. So the OS is ESXi. So the own virtualization software is the proper OS. So it's not gonna eat your RAM, it's not gonna eat your CPU. So you're gonna have all of that for the VMs, and you won't have to worry about like disabling graphical features on Windows to like use less RAM or closing apps. to save more RAM and, you know, load up more VMs. That's not a problem anymore. So the RAM you got is the RAM you can use. You can use 90%, you can use 95% of it with no issues. That's what ESXi was made for. So the RAM's there and you can use it as much as you want. It doesn't matter. And as you can see, CPU wise, there's just no impact. We're using 3% of the CPU. Yes, just 3% with 3 VMs. So each VM is using 1% of my i7. That's amazing. That's pretty much, you know, that makes clear that how can I say, Type 1 is the future, you know, for virtualization. Even though they say containers are the future, I don't think so, because containers, like, even though they are handy for programmers, stuff like that, you know, you don't have the full OS there. You have just the libraries. You have a few functionalities. You don't have the full thing, the full-blown stuff right there. Like, you know, I know Docker is pretty damn useful, but when we talk about corporate VMs and stuff like that, nah, you know. VMs have a lot more to live. The future of virtualization is going to be great, you know, mostly now with, like, how they manage to implement like full-blown Linux performance in VMware. Like, it runs pretty much as good as it would, and you know. Anyway, that's not a point here. We are here to make the VMs. So I'm wondering if it's actually possible to clone a VM. I don't think so. Console, launch remote console, so send keys, shut down power, suspend, reset permissions. Oh, there's permissions as well. So you cannot, users that can actually boot up the VM and users that can't. So like, let's say you have your secret VM where you're developing something that's gonna change the world. Like, I don't know, maybe a new sort of web server actually uses less resources, or I don't know, it doesn't matter. But like, you don't want your friend to know that you're like your work dudes, you want to hide that from them, so you just don't let them see the VM or power up the VM. Ain't that amazing? You could hide porn in there. Ooh, actually a good plan, but that's not the point. Let's make a new VM. So we have 3 running, as you can see. One more cool thing, you have a preview in real time. It's not real time, I think there's this 5-second delay, but anyway, you can see what's going on in the VM. So like, if someone else is using from a different network, you can actually see what's going on. You can like monitor what's going on. That's pretty damn cool. And other cool thing, there's a monitor. So you can see what's going on as far as network goes, and hardware, performance. So you have all of them VMs here showing up. And actually just no, never mind, it's just the hypervisor itself, but you can see how it fluctuates as far as CPU usage goes, and you know, while installing Debian. And like, you have hardware events, test logs. I'm not familiar, it's my first time using it, so yeah, there's also that. But from what I've seen so far, I'm amazed. I'm so amazed with how good it works. I think there's a slight delay when it comes to memory usage though, but as you can see, VM1 and VM2 are using barely any RAM. 34 and 19 megabytes. That's Debian for you. Without graphical interface, it's pretty damn lightweight. That's the point. That's the whole point of the software. So anyway, let's make a new VM here. I'm gonna create new VM. Yeah, unique name server 4. So we are pretty damn close to the target, which is 6 servers. We want to run 6 at once and see what happens. So yeah, OS family Linux Debian 9, Debian 9 64-bit. I could go with 32-bit, but I kind of want to, you know, I want to feel the master race. And I'm sorry, but 32-bit is old. It's from the 90s. I wanna go full blown 64. So you know, okay, storage. It's gonna. You can add more storage if you want. That's cool. You could add a shared storage as well, which is fully doable with ESXi. Oh my god, it's so hard to say. Anyway, 512 megabytes of RAM. That's what we're aiming. Hard disk 5. Oh shit. Oh, we can. It's good. I saw a red sign. I was like, holy shit, what's happening here? Disk provisioning. It's stick. Fin provision it. Oh, I should have. Oh, that's why it's taking a lot of space. Because if you go with thick, I think it pre-allocates the disk size. So like if it's 5, it's gonna take up 5 gigs of space. But when it's fin provisioned, I think it's gonna expand as you increase it, as you get files in it. So it's let's pretend it's a sort of bag. It's an empty bag, and as you get stuff inside, it grows. So you got what I mean? So you have a bag, you add 1 potato, 2, 3, it's gonna grow, it's gonna get bigger, heavier. That's pretty much what a thin provision is. And a thick provision is like a box. So it has a preset size, and that's it. I mean, you start with an empty box, but it has a preset size. It doesn't grow more than that. So let's say it's a 5 gigabyte box. You can only get up to 5 gigabyte in there, and it's gonna be already 5 gigabyte in size. You know, and once you fill it, There's nothing else to do. And when it's thin provision, it's like an empty bag. It has a limit. It can only go up to 5, but it's empty. It's not taking any space. It's just a bag. So as you keep adding stuff in there, it grows up to the limit. So yeah, that's it. Shares, that doesn't matter. Part of virtual, VMware, yeah. USB controller, host device, data store ISO file. There you go. Video card, doesn't matter, because we're not aiming for that. We ain't using graphical interface. We're gonna full CFI. So yeah, CLI. I mean, command line interface. I think that's it. Anyway, next. All right, so let's just make sure that the settings are correct, and yes, they are. So yeah, power that baby boy up. So ISO is in there. It doesn't power up automatically. I forgot about it. I'm sorry. But hey, here you can see CPU, memory, storage. Let's power that on. So we have all of them other 3 instances powered on, working fine. Graphical install, of course. We're gonna go graphical because it's easier and quicker. And we are here to save time. That's the point. We have to save time. That's the main goal. English, yes, English, please. United States, yes, United States. American English, yes, American English. Doesn't matter. Scanning CD-ROM, loading additional components. Okay, it's gonna take a while. You know, it's 5 on average minutes. Oh, other thing that we could do, but I don't know if my hardware can cope up, would be installing at various at once. But I don't think it would work. I'm not sure when it comes to disk, because the disk's not fast enough, so that would probably slow the whole thing down and wouldn't help. Not even a single bit. Hostname vserver01.br. Server 01.br. There you go. So configured network. Sure. Root password. We type the password in there. We type the password again. We go on. Phone name. I don't care about that. Doesn't matter. It's for testing. Username for the account. Yes. Password. No. Not gonna show my password, even though I leaked it while installing Arch Linux. Wasn't trying to do that, but it happened. Accidents do happen. It doesn't matter anyway. It's just a password for my VM. So if you get access to my VMs one day, you know the password. Eastern time zone. Doesn't matter much. Just gonna go with the standards. It's just for testing. We're just aiming to build the most amazing VM ever. use entire disk setup LVM. Please, yeah, that's the disk size. All files in one partition. Yes, I want to write that down. Yeah. You finish settings, write to the disk. Yes, write the changes. I wonder if I can change the disk here, this settings here to this fin mode instead. I hope I can, because it's taking up useless disk space in there. It's using space that we don't quite need to use. So I really hope there's a way. By the way, I'm gonna shut them down for that purpose. So yeah, shut down. Has a 1 minute delay for safety. That's alright. I don't mind. So if we click, oh no, we actually can't. Console, open browser console. There we go. So shut down. Yeah, let's shut the baby boy down. And that one as well can go. Console, open browser. Oh no, it's not letting me do that. Never mind. Ha ha ha, you can trick me, boy. Shut down. Yeah, please. So they're all gonna turn off after some time. Hopefully soon. It's 1 minute, as far as I remember. There's a command to do it instantly, but I don't bother. You know, it doesn't matter. We have all the goddamn time for that. So yeah, it's installing base system right now, and soon we are gonna be able to decide what we want, like graphical interface wise, settings wise, Brazil, USB. Yeah, doesn't matter much. Yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't care about that. It's configuring APT right now. So yeah, VM1 is offline, and they oh shit, no, I don't want you. Die. Shut down, power off. Yes, I don't care. Loss, data loss. That's okay. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, oh shit. No, not again. You gotta be kidding me. Well, thanks God it's not running any sort of process, so it doesn't matter if you just power it off. Let's do that. It could slow down the next boot, but that's not a major issue at all. So yeah. Anyway, let's wait till it installs our system here. It's taking longer than usual, because probably never mind. It's actually not. It was just a print server, no web server, SSH, no standard system utilities. I don't care about that. You know, I just want the very basics. Let's check that. Use space. Settings. Edit settings. Can we actually mess around with the disk? Oh no, it doesn't let me do that. No. That's so bad. That's actually so bad. Okay, it doesn't matter. Because like the next VMs are gonna take 300 megabytes. So we're gonna have plenty of room for all of them other VMs. Doesn't matter. We could go with more than 6, actually, if we don't run across problems with CPU, which could be a problem. But I think ESXi is smart enough to let you use more than like the cores you have. Like if you have 4 cores, it will definitely let you use as many as you want. The same way it lets you use as many RAM as you want. Cause like it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, of course, like if you run 2 VMs with 8 gigs of RAM and you have like only 16, it's gonna top up if they eventually go to full usage. But like, it's probably not gonna happen. It never goes past that if you're just doing lightweight stuff, you know. So you could, in theory, use more RAM than you have. I'm not saying a VM with more RAM you have, but like if you have a VM with 8 and another VM with 8 and one more with 8 and you power them on simultaneously, it's not going to be an issue at all unless you actually use the 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. But like for a very basic scenario, it's barely going to use 1 each. 1, 2 gigs each, given it's Linux and you're just powering it on and not using it for anything, just letting it idle there. So it doesn't matter. Root. So type the password in.